Welcome back to my latest video, and this is Christian. He's my husband. He's like semi my co-host now.
What's up? I love you all. I'm sorry. I just want to start off there. We're sorry if I offended anybody in my other videos.
Yes, he is actually going through lots of very amazing, inspirational, personal growth right now, and I'm actually just want to say I'm really proud of him for that.
It's personal, spiritual growth.
A whole other story. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, so we're gonna be nicer this time.
Yes. I'll be nicer this time. And even though it's hard for me, I need to do it.
So this time we just wanted to keep it kind of like light and reflective.
Reflective.
I guess you could say.
Reflective.
Thinking about our first pregnancy and
Our first pregnancy, yeah.
Is there an echo in here?
That's me, the echo. I don't know what to say. I'm just trying to be cool and this thing.
Like, not necessarily saying like, oh, I made a mistake or oh, it was so bad. Not like hating on ourselves necessarily, but just to think like, okay, maybe I'll do this differently next time. Or if I could go back and do this again, I would do this differently.
I don't want to go back and do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's my pride talking. Just kidding.
Just for the next time, maybe, to keep in mind. Or all of the other times after that, we'll just keep building on ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we have to. Yeah, that's what
I
it's
mean,
about.
I think that's what life is about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
just growth.
growth and
Just
learning
growth.
from your mistakes and
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Jesus. That I'm still gonna push.
yes. I mean, I am a biblical naturopathic doctor. After
Yeah.
all.
Hey.
First trimester, I think.
First trimester, man. I'm
That-
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, yeah, you women are something else. Yeah, in a good way. In a good way. She couldn't even. Kayla could even pass by In and Out. That's what I remember the first trimester. We would like. That's like my favorite place to eat, and we would pass by In and Out. She's like, I can't even smell the meat right now. Like I can't stand the smell. Like, can we go around it? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I enjoy driving by In and Out.
I was actually going to say, like, that was the biggest thing in the first trimester that I wish I had done differently because even though I did, like, it made me nauseous, but I still occasionally, like, you know, maybe once a week or once every other week was still getting, like, In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A or things like that. I was trying to eat a little more, like, healthier versions of, like, commercialized food, like Chipotle that's more
But I
organic.
remember that the Chick-fil-A didn't sit well with you though.
Yeah, but I still, like, attempted to eat it a few times, and I wish I had just not. I mean, I have a little bit of a French fry addiction, to be honest. And since then, I have learned to, like, bake my own French fries more than buying them somewhere. But I did do that a few times. Even in the second trimester, like, for my birthday, I was like, I want to eat In-N-Out for my birthday. And I'm thinking, like, why did I do that?
So I have a question. What would you do if we could bring it back? Because it's so hard for women to control that urge because you guys are building a human body. I want people to just check this out real quick. Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant centers in the NBA history, if not the dominant center, a 7-foot giant came from a woman. That's crazy. Like it started in there.
Thank God we don't have to push that out.
Wow. So I'm just saying, like, yo, like, educate us more. Like, well, what do you mean? Like, what do we have to do in order, not to have a 7-foot kid, but in order to, like, make them as, you know, every parent wants their kids to be as healthy as possible.
I mean, ideally, if I could go back and redo it, I think I did start to do this, I think a little bit later, just like making my own copycat alternatives at home.
What does that mean?
Like,
Copycat
you know, I
alternatives.
would just make my own grass-fed, gluten-free, organic burgers instead of going to In-N-Out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
You know, like, so there's certain things that you can do. I've heard of other women, like, making their own Taco Bell chalupa kind of thing, like, at home. Is it chalupa? Is it Taco Bell? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Eaten there
remember.
in a long time. Anyway, but, like, you know, making your own copycat, or even, like, if you really can't cook, like, asking somebody else, like a friend or a family member, to cook it for you. Say, like, hey, I'm having this super bad craving, but I really want to eat healthy. Can you just make this for me?
Right.
Yeah, so I think that if I could redo that, I would just, like, nix all of the
Well, I think
fast food.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think the hardest part for me as your biggest support for all the dudes out there is, like, there is no guideline. There's no, like, there's a lot of pregnancy books out there, but I mean you teach these things, like, where could I, like, for, like, right now, like I need a list of what to cook and what to eat. Like, can you give us a list? Or is that in your book or
Buy
what?
my pregnancy nutrition course.
Okay, so okay, well, it's in there. You know what I
Link
mean?
in the description box.
Okay. Well, that was the honest question. I wasn't even trying to get a plug out of that. I'm just like
Thank you.
I'm just trying to figure out like in my head like she asked me to get to help to be guest today, and I what and I'm just these are my honest questions. Like, I don't know what to do sometimes. I think that's what everybody asks. You know, like, hey man, we just have the general idea of like, oh, we got milk, we got protein, we got vegetables, we got fruit, but it breaks down to like, I didn't know that there's all these weird hormones, pesticides, preservatives,
Toxins,
and
chemicals,
toxicants. And you know what?
artificial colors and
Honest to
flavors.
God, I didn't even care about all those things because I said, yo, I could speak, I could talk, I could walk, and all the, like, it doesn't bother me right now until now that I'm 40 years old, and then I got some weird like, I got this like a bump. It's kind of personal, but I got some like a funky bump growing like on my, like, I don't know, like, where did that come from? You know, like that, if it's not gonna happen to you when you're a kid, it's starting to grow later. I think that's why it's best that you build the foundation as a child stronger, right? So to help us with more of this
I mean,
nutrition.
especially in the first trimester, that was the thing. It was like, it's so challenging because it's like the first trimester, the placenta is not formed, and so the baby's like more vulnerable, which is why like people
Yes.
you get more sick. Like, it's your body's defense mechanism.
Right.
But then it's like you're still trying to adjust to being pregnant, so like that's the hardest one to be in.
So you're telling me the first trimester is the most important because like what you taught me is it's like building a house.
It's
Yes.
crazy. Honestly, I really don't understand. Like, I'm sure God has a reason for it, but it's like every single internal organ, and like by the end of the first trimester, the baby has been made. Like, all of the organs are made, and then it's just the second and third trimester, the baby just gets bigger and bigger, and like everything kind of develops more deeply. But like the raw, basic outline, I guess you could say, is all there.
Wait, so like the heartbeat?
Yeah, so like the heart, the liver, the lungs, they all
Wow.
get created in the first trimester.
Wow.
So like if you're eating lots of toxic stuff and you're eating all these chemicals and things that really like interact with all of that stuff, it's like that's when the organs are actually getting made. So it's like even more, honestly, I feel like more people should be talking about the first trimester. Maybe we should do a whole video on that.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so something in the second trimester-ish. I mean, I found out about the whole like MTHFR gene mutation.
MTFHR, mother, father.
MTHFR.
That was so hard for me to understand in the beginning.
Mother, MTH, abbreviation for mother, and then father, FR. That's the only way I remember it.
Can you explain that real quick? What's the importance of these things?
It stands for something very long, like methyl.
No. Well, I mean,
something.
it's too hard. The medical stuff is too long. But
reductase.
what's the importance of it?
Essentially, it is your body's methylation process, which does a lot of different things in your body.
Like meth?
Methylation. And
I don't know what that is,
somebody's
man.
got a specific mind.
I don't know
Anyway,
what that is.
so it just does a lot of things in your body, like detoxification and cell regeneration and things like that. That's a whole long discussion.
Okay.
I do include it in my pregnancy nutrition course if you want to find out more. But essentially, like, your body needs folate for all of these processes, whether you're pregnant or not, but it's especially helpful while you're pregnant. And you also need like choline to support it, and you need to be like detoxify or like eliminating toxins, eliminating stress, eliminating like poor sleep, and like a lot of just different things.
If people are not aware of like these things, what happens? What's the major big downside of like long-term side effect?
Well, so like it's estimated that about 50% of the population has this gene mutation, and it really affects your body's ability to detoxify and your body's ability to build a baby. Really, like we always talk about when you talk about folate, they always talk about like developing the baby's brain and spinal column and things like that, which is essential for like everything in the baby's body. But if you are not pregnant and you do have this gene mutation, It's responsible for like PCOS, which is why you might be having a hard time getting pregnant, or cancer, or ADHD, or autism, or cystic
That's
fibrosis,
a big one.
or
Say that again slowly. That's important.
it's a lot of different things. It's like PCOS, autism, ADHD, cancer, cystic fibrosis, heart conditions while you're pregnant. It puts you more at risk for like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes and just like a bunch of things. So the more folate that you can get, the better.
So are you telling me like what's up with these Western doctors? Like everybody just goes there. Why do I need to listen to you versus this guy supposedly from let's put him out there, Kaiser Permanente? Why is listening to your natural holistic stuff better than these guys? I don't say better, but like what's happening? What's going on with the world? Why is this important?
Well, it's important, obviously, for all those different reasons that I listed. Like,
Okay.
you know, if you're more at risk for chronic issues, your baby's more at risk.
But so you're saying they don't tell you these things?
They don't, and they don't test you for it.
Hey,
Why? I don't.
sorry,
know.
my ego's coming out. But did you hear that? They don't test you for it. Why?
Yeah, and it puts you more
I
at
think
risk.
we just need to drop the mic right there. Like, yo, what?
Like, it also puts you more at risk for miscarriages and for like lots of other things too. So it really, like, everybody should be aware whether or not.
But if you end up having the kid, what happens? There's a lot of other side effects.
I mean, your kid could be more at risk for like autism or ADHD or other learning disabilities or cancer.
Underdeveloped brain.
Yeah. Or spina bifida is like the common one that they always talk about with folate. So there's so many different things, and folate is like one of the most important nutrients that you can get, and choline is like the Robin to Batman's folate. Like, you really need them like to go hand in hand, and choline, like, there's so many prenatal vitamins that don't have any choline at all for some dumb reason, or they just have like 17% or something really tiny, and you really need a lot of choline. So the brand that I use that actually is intentionally made to support methylation is called Pure Encapsulations. I'm not an affiliate for them or anything. I'm just a fan. But that's a really great, good quality brand of choline if you're looking for that.
I had a friend named Colleen once in elementary school. Colleen.
Oh, what is that?
I wiped it with my nose earlier. I thought we could share bodily fluids because we're husband and wife.
Okay.
Sorry.
Somebody's paying really
This
good
is what
attention in
happens.
class.
This is what happens when like the second trimester and my mom eats like a bunch of like Pioneer chicken. If y'all remember what that is, Pioneer chicken. I got some weird diagnosis of ADD from these Western
Example
doctors.
A of why you should eat folate. While
Thank God I was lucky enough, despite all my side effects, that this woman would still love me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm an example of that too, because I was diagnosed with PCOS, and I've had lots of hormonal issues and things like that that are like clear.
Oh, I remember when I met you. She was drinking like soda like it was like water. I was like, ugh, why am I hanging out with this lady? But that was also 7 years ago.
So yeah, anyway, I found out about MTHFR gene mutation and taking choline and really prioritizing folate and all of that stuff like maybe 18, 17, 20 weeks, somewhere around there. And everything worked out fine. She's healthy. I think we like kind of made up for it. And I did a lot of other things kind of like, not unintentionally, but like unconsciously, I was doing a lot of other things that just so happened to support this gene mutation. And a lot of the foods that I was craving did have folate. So I think my body kind of like covered for me. And I think God was kind of looking out for us in those ways. So it worked out. But had I known, I would have started out supplementing with choline right away. I would have really prioritized folate intentionally.
So there's that like so after that we got the third trimester, and then is it like kind of like a smooth sailing till there or what? I mean, I know it's not, but I mean, I know you did a lot of other things. I remember that, but I don't remember what you were eating because I was working most of the time. But and she was working also. But I don't know what did you do on the third trimester? Is it like The foundation is the first and the second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I getting this correct?
Yeah. Well, the first is for sure the foundation, and then the second and the third kind of builds on that. Yeah.
Well, what's the most important? They're all important, but what
They're
would
all important.
they all play a specific role?
I would say if you're gonna be like hyper conscious and very paranoid in any trimester, probably the first one is the one to go, just because, not because it's the most important, but because the baby is the most vulnerable. So if you're going to err on the side of caution of anything, if you're going to forgo any kind of pharmaceuticals or even herbs or
Any medical interventions
or foods and toxins or things or any kind of like experiences that you think might possibly put you at risk, like that would be the one to be the most paranoid in, I think. So another thing with the third, like, yes, the first trimester is probably the most vulnerable, but I think the second most vulnerable trimester would be the third trimester, just because like you're so close to labor that lots of things can kind of like trigger early labor, like not drinking enough water, lifting heavy things, stressing yourself out. I've heard of some women like not taking their maternity leave the month before specifically because they want to have an early labor, like they want to like kick in their labor. And this is like a big pet peeve of mine. Obviously, if it's like a medical reason, like your baby is at risk and you need to like stimulate labor earlier, like that's a whole nother thing. But I hear so many women just being like I'm tired of being pregnant, just want this baby out already. It's like, I'm sorry, but like tough luck.
She sounds like me right now.
Okay, this is just yeah, we're trading sides right now, but this is really something I feel strongly about, because your baby's not done yet. They're not ready. So in my mind, if you're just trying to like give the baby an early eviction notice just because you like, I get it. Pregnancy is uncomfortable in so many ways, like I understand that. But to like push your baby out early because you're uncomfortable or because you just don't feel like being pregnant anymore, like you're just setting your baby up for so many like issues and health issues and lack of development. Like they're not done cooking yet, like leave them in there.
When we say lack of development, like not only intellectual development or physical, how about emotional? How does this lack of proper nutrition affect what's happening to mental health? Let's get into that.
Well, so like
your
baby having more like medical interventions, your baby coming out early, they could end up needing to be in the NICU, they could end up needing lots of different medical interventions and things, and the more interventions actually puts them more at risk. They've done studies to show that it puts them more at risk for things like autism and ADD and other learning disabilities and things like that. So that's one thing. But also, like, if your baby's brain isn't fully developed, if their immune system isn't fully developed, if some part of their body isn't done yet, there's a good reason why they're not coming out yet. And to push them out early is without a good reason.
What if they came out early?
Well, no, if they come out early, that's one thing. Or if like there are certain situations where like to leave the baby in puts them more at risk than to let them stay in. Like I understand that. I'm not judging on any of those situations, but I'm just talking about, because I hear this from like plenty of women. Being like, I just don't feel like being pregnant anymore, or like, is there anything that I can do to like make this baby come early because I'm tired of being pregnant? Like that, I'm just gonna say is selfish, and get over yourself and let your baby be in there for longer.
I like how my wife is feisty right now. It's normally that I'm feisty.
Maybe because
am I rubbing off?
Maybe because you're not doing it this time. It's coming out of me. But anyway, that's my rant. Leave some comments in the comment section how you feel. Yes, the third trimester is definitely vulnerable because the baby's not done yet, and leaving them in, especially first pregnancies. Like I went 10 days past my due date, and like she needed it for whatever reason. That like first pregnancies tend to take longer because your body just needs it more. And that kind of leads up to my other thing that I would change, is that I did have 10 days past my due date, and I had prodromal labor every single day for like 2 hours. and it was
What's that again? Prodromal labor?
that was like I was getting like
Oops.
contraction. It felt like
yeah.
remember it felt like I would call him or text him like I think it's happening right now, and he would like leave work and come to help me, and then like an hour later it's like I feel nothing anymore, and we walked for forever. Like I was just thinking like oh like I don't know. It was just very, very frustrating to have this like start and stop and start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And
So what are you getting at? What does that mean?
so I think a lot of that though, really because like pregnancy and especially labor and delivery is like such a mind game where like stress and like getting too much in your head and all of these things and that's my tendency. I like overthink, you know this. I overthink, I overachieve, I'd like get too much.
That's an understatement. More like there's no word for that. This is literally over.
Yes.
Don't put a chi, just over.
That's something I'm working on. But anyway.
But you gotta let everybody know what kind of labor you had too. We had a natural birth. I mean, our baby was born in the water.
Yeah,
In a
mean,
pool.
it was wonderful, and it was.
That's different than having like a epidural shot in you or whatever they do to make the baby come out. Like you did it all straight up.
Right, but I think like those 10 days leading up to it, I think I would have loved to have been more just like chill and more just like it's gonna happen when it happens. You know, like if I feel prodromal labor right now, that's fine. If it turns into labor, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. You know, it was just
so there's like personal mental advice you're giving right now.
Yes, but I think also like especially for a first time mom, there's just a lot of like uncertainty and anxiety over labor and over having your baby come out, and like obviously you want your baby, but then like you're kind of afraid of how everything's gonna go. And I think that goes for whether you're going to a hospital or a birth center. Like there's just a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. So I think just like trying to be as chill as possible, which is not easy with all of the hormones and the things. But
crazy.
I think, I wish I had just been a little bit more relaxed and stressed a little bit less. And then like the last thing is, it's not really one of the trimesters. It's actually during my delivery that I really wanted to do. That's hypnobirthing. If you've never heard of that, it's like there are certain tapes and tracks and things. There is actually an option for Christian hypnobirthing if you just, are a little bit skeptical or uncertain about the hypnosis aspect. It's mostly just like meditation and just kind of helping you get in a good, peaceful, calm, like what I just said, frame of mind. And I don't want to say who this person was, but I had asked somebody like, oh, what do you think about hypnobirthing? And her reaction just really was so like turned off to it. And that's just her personal opinion, but I really think I let her opinion affect my thoughts on it, and I didn't pursue it. And I wish I had, because I've heard so many good things about it, and like everybody that's done it.
I don't even know what that is. I mean, this
it's
is
just
new to
like
me.
they you like put your earbuds in like while you're in labor, and you listen to the tracks like while you're still pregnant, like to kind of familiarize with it.
Why don't we just play the music on a Bluetooth?
No, but it leads you through like certain breathing exercises, like breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 8 or something like that. Or it'll say like, just imagine that you are in this state of peace and calm, and that you are
I'll just memorize the tape.
Yeah, it just helps you
relax.
But from what I hear people talk about, it helps people
relax. See, you're relaxing. Smell this. That's what you do. Smell.
Yeah, so I think next time I'd like to try that, just to see for myself whether or not it's really effective, because a lot of people that I know that have done it just like rave about it and how wonderful it is. So I'd like to try it.
I have so much like mad respect for women who gave birth, because I was just like, I'd rather get beat up like 50 times, like in a gang jump circle or whatever, I don't know what it is, and then give birth, because like especially a natural birth with my wife, because it was like a war, it was like a battle, but there's a beauty behind that, like what she was fighting for. It was so like precious and what's the word? Because she's good with definitions. One of a kind, empowering. Like it was so moving and like, and something you can't even explain with words because she's about to bring life into this world. So like every moment she felt, you know, like I could every time she was having a contraction, like her energy was I was bouncing off of that.
He did a really, I should say that, like, minor details aside, like, overall he did an amazing job being a good birth partner that was really supportive. So thank you for listening to all of our things that we wish that we had done differently in our first pregnancy, and we will probably eventually at some point do a comparison, or we'll see if we actually stuck with those things in our second pregnancy and third. So tune in for that eventually, whenever that happens.
Tune in. Tune in.
Thank you for watching, whatever that was. And please.
Laughter is the best cure also.
Yes, laughter in labor is very helpful. Anyway, so please like and subscribe for more videos on pregnancy and postpartum and all these great things. Thank you, Christian, for joining me again. And yes, comment with your thoughts, or if there's anything that, excuse me, if there's anything that you wish you had done differently. Wow.
Am I stealing your show? I'm sorry. Keep on going.
Are you done?
First, second trimester?
Sitting next to the teacher and everything.
Yeah, I was actually sat next to the teacher from first to like 6th grade.
Oh, okay. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.
Peace.